mind just by itself, practical mind is as I said, a wonderful servant. Practical mind. But when the identity joins with mind, when our sense of self and mind become one, then this is where the trouble begins. This is where the trouble begins. And for most people, the mind has become so merged with their sense of self that they don't know the difference between it. They say, well, this is just me. So the first thing that is so important in doing, as we have spoken about over the last couple of days, is first of all beginning to observe the mind, beginning to watch the mind, and also beginning to notice when there are spaces in the mind, because the mind is not always active. There are some gaps. And when we are new to this, and when we still feel very mindy, then it is very good that we pay some attention to the gaps. And we start to pay more attention to the gaps than to the content. The gaps, or the space, that is more you than the content. So as you begin this then, you are paying more attention to space, and you're also beginning to observe. And you're seeing that actually all of these thoughts, they are arising and falling. They are arising and falling. And something habitually is jumping on top of them. But your job is to just pull back, and see if you can get some distance between yourself, the witnessing consciousness, and the mind. So you know the difference between yourself and the mind. This is an enormous thing to do. This is a tremendous thing to do. In fact, this is one of the greatest steps you can make. When you begin to discern the difference between yourself and your mind. Yes. For some people, they say, I'm watching my mind, and I can see everything is coming and going. Everything is coming and going. I say, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. But now you must go on to the next stage. Now you must go on to the next stage. When you have confirmed inside yourself that everything is coming and going, that there is something here that is perceiving all of the coming and going of the mind, can the attention switch away from watching the mind to watching the watcher? So up until now we have been watching, we have been jumping on the back of the mind. Okay? So the first thing to do is to take ourselves a little bit away from the mind and to get some distance. And we see these thoughts are passing, arising and passing. When that is clear for you, then consciously look at this place. At this place. Because otherwise you can spend all your time saying, there is another thought coming, and look, it's going. And now I'm having a positive thought arising, and now it's passing. Good, but next stage, watch the watcher. What I mean by that is begin to see if the watcher, which is the subject, if the subject has any form. If it has any form. If it is watching with any interest. Is it watching saying, I'm doing really well at observing today, aren't I? Look, I'm doing so well. Because if it is like that, then the mind has kind of realized that it's not, its position here is challenged, so the mind has slipped around the back door. and is now coming here saying, we're doing very well watching the mind, aren't we? The mind has come in the back door, you see? Yeah. So you will know this, you will know if the mind has slipped into the position of the witness, if the witness is witnessing with interest. If the witness has any kind of thingness about it. And if the witness has any kind of thingness about it, then you must see what is perceiving that. What is perceiving that? Ultimately, you are being invited to come back on yourself. Back on yourself. Back on yourself until you're against the wall and your hands are put up and you just realize, well, I must be this. Now, it is not that there are more and more and more witnesses. There is only one formless witnessing. There is only one formless witness. And I say that this formless witness is the ever-present consciousness. It's here now. It will be here when this evening. It will be here tomorrow morning. It will be here at the week. It's always here. It is always here by itself. And I am saying that is you. I am inviting you to exchange your position from here as the mind to here as the witness of the mind, and then double check that the mind hasn't come in the back door here by seeing if the witness itself can be witnessed. If the witness itself can be witnessed. Sounds like a lot of words now. Oh, he told me, can the witness be witnessed? Sounds like a lot of words. So that mind is, oh dear. I was quite happy with this bit. I was there with this bit. And I kind of got this bit. But hold on a minute. Yeah. So please, 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 keep it super simple. Keep it super simple. Because this path is the simplest path. It is not a difficult path. In fact, my own teacher, Muji, he says, truth is simple, but the seeker of truth is complex. Truth itself is very simple, but the seeker of truth, the mind identity, very complex. He also says, truth is simple, but it is not cheap. Truth is simple, but it is not cheap. Meaning, you are going to have to give something up of yourself. You are going to have to give something up of yourself. Otherwise, it simply remains a mental concept. I know I am the awareness. I can tell people about it at dinner parties. Everyone is quite impressed. But I'm just carrying on as normal. But I know I'm the awareness. But no, it must have a profound effect inside you. Because the old identity is being evicted. Not through force, not through effort, not through getting into a fight. All of this you will lose because the mind it has got moves that we haven't even thought of yet. But through simple insight, just through simple insight. When we say I, we must look, what is I? When you say I in yourself, I, Lisa, I, what is that referring to beyond the concept? Because all of us, we know something about our person. say, yeah, I'm English and, I like horses or whatever it is, all these things. But I say, no, that is not the I, the true I. That is an expression. It's stuff about you, about who actually are you. And then we begin to look. We begin to look. Because nowhere else are we going to be asked this question. Nowhere else is someone going to ask you, yeah, but who are you? Say, well, I'm Paul, can't you see? Nowhere else, only in satsang are you going to be asked to inquire into the nature of yourself. And because of the directness of this, and because of the immediacy of this, and because of the power of this kind of looking, then sometimes something comes up which very much resists this. But I say no, allow the resistance to come, but don't purchase that. You just stay as the watcher. You just stay as the witnessing consciousness. You just stay as the neutral awareness self. And then as you begin to come inside that, then you will fully feel and embrace your humanness. You will feel the aliveness of your humanness, and you will enjoy your humanness, but you will not fully suffer it when the other aspects of humanness arise, because your identity won't get caught inside it. You'll simply be able to just hold your ground. Hold your ground. What I am hoping for in these days that we're together is that something becomes very clear for you. Okay, I can see my position. I can see who I am. And now this process of standing inside and as that begins. And in standing inside this process, this is really where we have to be honest and authentic and fully come out of hiding. We have to fully come out of hiding and allow the consciousness to go wherever it wants inside us. Let it reach every part of us. Mind, heart, and gut. Let the consciousness naturally shine its light on these places. Because for many of us, we have got in our gut something holding on so tight, so tight. And this needs to also just be embraced in stillness and open to in stillness.